welcome people of the World Wide Web. So it's Cypher Sigma here, it's another Monday, and as always, to start off the week, I like to show you a little bit more of my collection. So yes, we have episode 46, so this is the final shelf on the kind of main movies and series line. And then I think it should be another 8 videos, I think around 54 before we get it. So I know that's what you come here for, so please do like and subscribe if you feel the need. You know, it always does help me out on the channel. Please do comment below on anything, you know, any improvements and stuff. I always like to hear people's feedback or comments, but we shall get into it now. So here we are on the final 3 shells, so we're going to try and do them all in one go, as this has been quite a long series. So yes, vice versa. So a childhood movie that I do kind of vaguely remember, but I did enjoy. Obviously from Beverly Hills Cop fame. Victor Frankenstein wasn't okay movie, but I bought it to give it a second rewatch. Have not got round to doing that yet. View from the Top, a very kind of silly movie, has Austin Powers in it. Yeah, Rob Lowe, is he on the back? There is, oh, no, there's not a picture of him. Yeah, it was okay for back in the day. Village of the Damned. Watched this a little while ago. Christopher Reeve. Again. Actually, no, I don't think I have seen this one. I'm getting confused with something else. I've not seen this, so I don't know. But increasing in my horror collection virtuosity. Really like this movie. Good old Denzel Washington. You don't come across this too much. I think Russell Crowe. Vital Signs, this is one for my wife. Stickers are on it, so she's probably not got round to watching it as of yet. Then we have Volcano. I really like this movie, good old disaster kind of one. Yeah, the guy melting and the train tracks is what I remember. Then we have Volcano High, martial art movie about kind of school kids. It was alright. Had potential, but I don't think it was executed as well as it could have been. Waiting, so obviously a silly comedy from Ryan Reynolds earlier in his acting career. Waitress, obviously this was turned into a stage show, or was a stage show. Nathan Fillion, Kerry Russell. I liked this. Walking Tall, The Rock, and obviously Johnny Knoxville, kind of your buddy cop movie after kind of the success of Jackass. Walking with Dinosaurs, I'm a big fan of dinosaurs, so I've got a few and then obviously we have Walking with Dinosaurs, the movie. Walk of Shame, I thought this was a very funny movie, Elizabeth Banks. Then we have Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix. I thought this was a really good movie. Didn't really know much about Johnny Cash, but learned a lot from this. Then we get into Wallace and Gromit. So this is the first 3 original movies. So A Grand Day Out, The Wrong Trousers, and A Close Shave. Oh, sorry, throwing stuff around. Then we have Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Then we have A Matter of Life and Death, which was the last one, and then obviously look forward to new ones. Because it was a continuation from, so here's Shaun the Sheep the movie. And the second one, Farmageddon. Then we have the Wall Street collection. I've seen the original one. I don't really recall the second one. I feel like I have watched it, but it didn't really hit home to me, in all fairness. Wanderlust, Paul Rudd, kind of a silly community off the grid type one, and a couple trying to kind of find themselves, I believe. It was alright. Wanted, I thought this was a great movie. Probably one I should update. Obviously with the bending bullets. Based on a comic book, but obviously they do change it a lot. Jet Li's War, I quite like this. I quite like the twist. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Warcraft, I saw again another movie I've seen at the cinema. I saw a lot at the cinema. This one had potential, and I didn't mind it. It was okay, but yeah, I think with the big blockbusters where they have a lot of CG, it takes a lot of money. War Dogs, watched this last year. Really like this, quite interesting to learn, obviously based on real life. War Games, Matthew Broderick, watched this quite a lot as a kid. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I haven't watched it of late, so it's one I will need to go back and watch. War Horse, I like animal movies. This one isn't kind of on my major to-do list. It's obviously got a lot of praise, which is why I bought it, but I've just not got round. Then obviously Warehouse 13, season 1 is inside, so Season 2, this is one I bought and I've never managed to get around to finishing, so it's on my list. So season 2 there. Season 3, so as you see, it's sealed, so I haven't even got that far. Or season 4 was sealed, I should say. And then the final season there. Obviously, I am working on some series soon, so hopefully I'll start that. Warm Bodies. I really, really like this movie. Nicholas Hoult. Thought it was a very interesting take on the whole zombie genre / kind of romantic comedy. I think Nicholas Hoult doesn't get enough praise in my eyes, but that's just me. Warrior. Obviously good. Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton fighting each other, brothers. Then we have the kind of foreign, as you can tell, Warriors of Virtue. I remember this movie in Fundy as a kid, so I managed to find a copy and bought it. My memory obviously made it a lot better than what it was, but it was alright. It's obviously a love of martial arts was why I was drawn to this. Then we have Tony Jaa's Warrior King. Some of the earlier work of Tony Jaa, really, really good movie. Good martial arts in it. Watchmen. Again, if you're a comic book fan, really, really love this movie from Zack Snyder. I thought this had potential for him to lead on to the Justice League. Unfortunately, he went a different direction and obviously had a lot of other stuff going on. I mean, I do like Justice League Uncut, but War for Elephants. Watched this recently as well. It's quite a sad kind of fairground circus act and people involved within it. Waterworld. I'll get a lot of slack. I really like this movie. I do like Kevin Costner. I do like quite a few movies he has done, even the big blockbuster ones. Then we have Party On, Wayne's World, Shah or Wing, and Wayne's World 2. We have We Are Marshals. I've not seen it, so I can't comment about this one. Or have I seen this? Maybe I've seen. I can't remember. I've seen so much. We Bought a Zoo. Really, really like this. Matt Damon, obviously based loosely on a true story. And I've been to the zoo. Wedding Crashers. Obviously, everybody loved this. I thought it was all right at the time, but I've never really rewatched it. So, Wedding Days, a very cheesy Jason Biggs Isle of Fisher movie. Yeah. Right, then we get into Weeds. So this is a series my friends got me into. I really, really like this. Again, another. I think I have finished this a long time ago. So obviously to go over it, there's Weeds season 5, and then Weeds season 6. Was it the final series? I can't remember. But there it is. Then we've got some big classics. Well, Weekend at Bernie's. I was really late to the game. Never watched this in the 80s. Came back to watch it in like the early 2000s and enjoyed it. That's why I picked it up. Weird Science. Kelly LeBrock. Loved this movie as a kid. Picked it up. I haven't rewatched it in a long time, so it's definitely got to go on my list. Welcome to Dolmangao. This is a war movie where a load of different soldiers from different nations get stuck in a village and they have to work together. A very powerful message this has. I really like this movie. Welcome to Marwell. Obviously, Steve Carell's person who has a bit of like styles and stuff. Had potential. It was okay. And then obviously Everybody Loves Raymond in one of his first feature-length movies, Welcome to Moose Point. Nah, it was turn your brain off and enjoy it. Then we have Welcome to the Jungle, again, another buddy comedy kind of with The Rock and Sean William Scott. Then we got the found footage, Welcome to the Jungle, which was not very good, that AJ lovely gifted me. We Own the Night, kind of a police corrupt cop drama-ish. It was alright. A Dinosaur Story. I know, We're Back, A Dinosaur Story, that's why it's here. Watched this as a kid and really liked it. When I revisited last year, it was not as enjoyable as I remember it. We Are the Millers, a great silly movie. Spider there. You all know, we're going on a bear hunt. My wife has said this to me a lot, and the James Acaster joke made me pick this up and watch it. It's not too bad. Then we have Westworld season 1. Saw this with my mates. Then bought season 2, and unfortunately haven't got around to finishing it, or 3 or 4, and I know they did leave it open. We Were Soldiers, obviously sealed, so I have never seen that, unfortunately. And then What Dreams May Come, a good old movie starring Robin Williams, unfortunately no longer with us. What's Eating Gilbert Grape, obviously Johnny Depp and Leonardo DiCaprio there in one of his earliest movies. What If, so Daniel Radcliffe. I don't think it's the perfect date movie at all, but that's just me. One movie was one of the early ones I went to see, so What Lies Beneath, obviously Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer, and obviously someone's been murdered and who did it, from Robert Zemeckis. Obviously would explain why I like it, because of Back to the Future. What We Did on Our Holiday, my wife really likes Billy Connolly and really likes this movie, so bought it and watched it a year or two ago and really enjoyed it. Another one from back in the day, What Women Want. Loved this concept and thought Mel Gibson did brilliant in this movie. Wasn't the remake was all right with the woman, but yeah. What's the worst that could happen? I think I have watched it, but yes, I have seen this, because I remember William Fitcher there in the hat and stuff, and he has a little dog with him. It was a very zany movie, kind of, again, turn your brain off and enjoy, but sometimes you need those movies. Then we have good old Anna Faris and Chris Evans in What's Your Number, kind of a love romance comedy. What to expect when you're expecting, obviously, if you want to know about babies and stuff, let's kind of do a buddy comedy, not buddy comedy, kind of a big cast and kind of all come together like they used to have around that time. Throw lots of cast members together and have kind of a silly-ish story, or not spend too much. Wicker Park, an early movie from Josh Hartnett. Or have I seen it? Yeah, I have seen this. So this is where these two kind of get together, but they kind of had trials and tribulations. When Harry Met Sally, obviously I'll have what she's having. We all know. Where in the World is Osama bin Laden. I believe that's bloke who did Super Size Me. I've never got around to watching it. I think I got given it. One of my favourite movies from 2 years ago, Where the Crawdads Sing. A great movie. Definitely would recommend it if you kind of love court case thrillers like Who Did It and stuff. While You Were Sleeping, Sandra Bullock. Who cannot beat Sandra Bullock? And obviously bloke gets knocked unconscious and she ends up looking like it's his fiancée, but she's not. Whip It, Ellen Page, Drew Barrymore. Obviously directorial debut of Drew Barrymore. It was alright, kind of girls skater gangs and come together. I thought it was alright. Apologies, it's a bit uncomfortable here, so that's why. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Bought this, never seen it, so I can't tell you as of yet. Obviously my number 4 top movie of all time, White Chicks. Love this movie. Could never make it today, but I thought it was great. White Coats, very silly kind of doctor comedy. I thought it was okay, remembering when I watched it, but it's been a long time. And we have White Horse Down. I did prefer the Gerard Butler version over this in my eyes, but I know people do gravitate to that, some of them. White Men Can Jump. I think it was not on my 100 watch list, but yeah, I hadn't seen this or I think I might have seen bits of it when I was a kid, but never really got around to watching it all, so picked this up and actually really enjoyed it. Then we have White Noise, Michael Keaton, I believe, and obviously all scary phenomenon. Whiteout, Kate Beckinsale. This is my second copy because my first one froze at the right crucial time of knowing who the bad guy was or who's out to kill everybody at a remote ice station. Why Him? Was this one of the last-ish movies that he did? Obviously before he got a bit of a James Franco, obviously a bit of troubled past, but I do like Bryan Cranston. It was alright. The Wilds, wasn't a big fan of this. Reese Witherspoon kind of tracking, kind of on a road to discovery, but it just didn't gel with me. Woody's Wonderland, obviously got this recently after watching Five Nights at Freddy on the back of AJ's request. I did kind of enjoy it. And then we had the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You can't beat that. The snozzberries taste like snozzberries. Witness, Harrison Ford as he goes to an Amish community and helps them out. I thought this was really good. It was just a shame the ending. They don't really get the ending that you expect, but it was quite interesting to insight into the Amish community and how they worked that into this story. Then we have Who Am I? Jackie Chan's movie my mate used to love, so we used to watch this quite a bit. It isn't alright as Jackie Chan, it's not his best, but Who Framed Roger Rabbit, saw it as a kid, obviously bought a sealed version, still not got around to rewatching it. It's on TV a lot. Widows, saw the trailer for this, never got round to watching it at the cinema. I think me and my wife sat down for the first 5 minutes and she turned it off, so I do have to get back to watching that. Wild Hogs, obviously an all-star cast, I thought it was okay. Wild Target, as you see the labels are on it, so I don't know what it's like. Obviously got a good cast members, but whether they work together or not. The Wiki Wild Wild West, Jim West, again a cheesy movie. I like this. I also like the story behind it, and obviously if you know how they were going to make Superman movies in the 90s, you will get that. Willow, watched this as a kid, loved this, rewatched it recently and made my wife watch it. She didn't like it, but I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the series. It's a shame it got pulled. Wembley, obviously Paul Bettany and Kirsten Dunst, kind of coming together for the love of tennis-ish. Win a date with Tad Hamilton. Big fan of Topher Grace, so this is why I kind of picked up this, the kind of love romance, will they, won't they, with kind of a celebrity in there. Wind River, never seen it, obviously from Marvels, obviously follow up to this, so look forward to watching that at some point. A good action movie I really like, Wind Talkers, Nicolas Cage action movie. Don't think it gives enough credit. It's quite a good movie if you like war films and or Nicolas Cage. So then we're getting down to the final shelf. So Wire in the Blood. So this was a series from my wife that I did watch with my friend many moons ago, with Robson Green. I quite enjoyed it. And then obviously that's 1 and 2, and then there's 3. And then we have Without a Paddle, a very cheesy Seth Green movie. It is what it is. The first series of Without a Trace, so again a series, I buy loads of first series for me and my wife to try and get into, and obviously she takes into it and I start collecting them. Then we have Wolf Cop, very kind of cheesy movie, but I didn't mind it. It's a kind of a little bit zany one, but I enjoyed. Then we have Wolf Creek, really liked this, based off true events, and obviously quite like. I think they did more, but I've never watched any of the sequels. Then we have Wonderlands, all-star cast. Been a long time since I've seen this, and the sticker's still on it, so I can't recall what happens of much. Wonder Park, so this was again like the early 2010s animated movies, like they were just pumping them out left, right and centre. It's okay, it lacks a lot of depth and story in my eyes. Wuxi, this was a martial arts kind of demon movie that I bought and watched with all my friends, and it was pants. World's Greatest Dad, but he's not. Again, this was on a kind of an era of, I was buying loads of Robin Williams ones around about the time he passed, unfortunately, so I can't vaguely recall how good or bad. World Trade Center, obviously around the 9/11 events. Didn't mind this. Obviously it's quite hard because the subject matter, but Wrecked, Adrian Brody, a great movie about a man who wakes up in a car unconscious and he doesn't recall what's happened. Definitely would recommend this if you like Adrian Brody, or if it's kind of mysteries. X, so this is a new one. The cover was a bit mangled from HMV, but obviously I haven't seen, I can't remember what the sequel is, and Maxine, obviously it's coming out. Then obviously the X-Men movies would sit here, but they're all inside for my list, so that's Dark Phoenix. I have the Blu-ray on its way. Then we have Triple X. Then the second one with Ice Cube, where Vin Diesel didn't return. And then we have the third one where he did return, which I saw at the cinema, which was alright. Yeah, I do like Vin Diesel films where he's kind of action hero. I prefer Pitch Black, I think, out of all of them. But then we have Year One, a very bad Jack Black kind of caveman comedy. Then we have Yes Man, Jim Carrey, I do like him. It's a shame he doesn't do too many of these bigger comedy films, but a great story, and I thought he executed it well. Yesterday, my wife recommended to get this. I'm not the biggest fan of the Beatles, but I did enjoy it. Yogi Bear, so revisiting obviously the cartoons from my childhood. Didn't mind this. Didn't mind the cast. Thought it was done quite well for what it is. You Again. Not seen it. Please let me know in the comments if you have, what you think of it. You Got Served. I think I got given this as well from an older, maybe ex-girlfriend or stuff. I'm not the biggest dance fan stuff, but I always like to try new things just in case. You, Me and Dupree. Not the greatest Owen Wilson movie in my eyes. Obviously a kind of cheaper by the dozen knockoff. Yours, Mine and Ours. Then Charlize Theron in Young Adults, about a woman trying to kind of deal with being an adult after being a party life. Yeah, not the greatest movie. Then we got Young Guns, a great cowboy movie. And then I would say just as good, the Young Guns 2 in my eyes. Then talking more James Franco, we have Your Highness. Kind of the silly comedy ones that he was doing around that time. You've Got Mail. Good old Meg Ryan. She did do good kind of love story comedies back in the day. Zack and Miri Make a Porno. As a very silly movie. On a kind of Alicia Banks time, I really enjoyed it. Just wasn't the biggest Seth Rogen fan at the time, so. Then we have Zafira, so the follow-up to kind of Jumanji almost. Zero Dark 30, whereafter I think, is this the Osama Bin Laden hunt? It is based on, it's quite interesting to learn, obviously. It is loosely based off, but I don't think there's a lot you have to take it with a pinch of salt. Zodiac, a great movie about a killer that was never found in real life. It's good and a good star cast and a good story. It's just a shame there isn't a poetic ending. Don't Mess with the Zohan, Adam Sandler. Again, it's one of these movies that later in his career you just turn your brain off and enjoy it or not. Zombieland. I really enjoyed this. Kind of did a few things different from the zombie genre, and obviously all the cast were cast really well and worked really well together. Then we have the follow-up, Double Tap. Obviously brought some new elements into it, but still did enjoy it. We have the Googly, Zoolander. It's funny back in the day. Haven't seen it for a long time. And then the final one is Zoom. So it's a very cheesy superhero kids film that I didn't think was that great. And there we are for this episode. And there we go. That is this a week selection. A bit of a bigger video. Obviously, I covered the last 3 shelves on that one, so good to go in. Is there anything that you liked? Please do let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I've been Cypher Sigma Screen Time, and I shall see you in the next one.